Hello, my creative friends. Today I'm going to show you how to assemble this really cute little St. Patrick's Day treat basket. This is a relatively easy craft to put together after you've cut it out with your cutting machine. It's about 3 by 3 inches and square or cubed when you get done with it, but you can obviously enlarge it if you would like to make a bigger basket. Just make sure that you group all your items together, and when you enlarge it, it will come out proportionate. Okay, so to get started, I've already cut out my pieces, and I'm just gonna put these to the side for the moment. And I have these 2 pieces, which are the basket. You can see the score lines, and I'm gonna go ahead and fold those in towards the middle. And the paper, if you use good paper, you don't have to worry about it tearing or the score lines breaking. I've tried it. It's actually kind of difficult to get them to break unless you're really working at it. So this is going to end up looking like that. We're going to glue it down in just a minute. And then this one, do the same thing. Go ahead and fold it towards the center. And I apologize for the sound you're going to hear in just a minute. We live next to an air base. Well, I'm not going to apologize. To me, it's the sound of freedom. But anyway, it gets a little loud every now and then, and I should know better than to try to record at this time of day, because this is about the time of day that it always happens. But anyway, bear with me. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and you can see this is going to fit just like this when you get it together. So the first thing I'm going to do, now that I've got this folded, is I'm going to take my little glue. This is what is this? Easy Runner. I'm going to put a little bit of glue, and you can use regular glue if you want. I like to use this for these 3D items just because it seems to hold really well and it doesn't smear or run. So kind of like, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm just kind of trying to line up that outside edge before I press it down. See how that makes, I just tried to line it up here. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here when I get this piece going. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue or the sticky strip on these. And it doesn't take a whole lot. Make sure they're bent towards the middle. And then I'm going to take this flat edge that doesn't have a tab and stick it down to this edge first, if I can get it lined up. Takes just a little bit of manipulating. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the perfectionist me goes, yes, it does. All right, so then I'm going to take these two inside pieces. I'm going to fix this. It has a little sticking up, and I'm going to. It seems to help if you flip it onto the bottom. Press that down, and then do the same thing. We're going to do the bottom again. Press that down, and then do that inside tab. So there, we've got our basket. Simple, easy one. It's square, so that makes it easy when it's not some crazy shape. All right, so there's the basket part. So I have these panels that you can put on the card. Again, this is your choice. You can do these or not do these. I just think it adds that extra level of intricacy and dimension. So I designed these so that they would fit in this direction horizontally. If you can do it this way vertically, but it's going to cut off some, or not really cut it off, but shorten that little span there of where the cute little scallops are. So I like to do it like this. And I also like to put them together and make sure that I have them all turned in the same direction, because, you know, if you flip it around, it's going to look different. But anyway, go ahead and try to get those organized like you want them. And then I'm going to glue. I use my regular glue. I can get it unstuck. And just do a few little strips like that. And try to center that. Oh, goodness. Like that. On each of the 4 sides. So we're going to go and do that. I used to teach 2nd and 3rd grade, and I cannot tell you the number of kids who would just glop on the glue. They would put way more than they needed. And I used to tell them just a dot or 2 is all you need. Okay, and we're on the last panel. Oh, why is my glue glopping up here? Well, I have a little, there we go. That's the only thing I don't like about this little precision tip, is sometimes it gets a little glop in there and it clogs up, but not very often. You have to keep the pin in it. Okay, last panel. Okay, so now we've got the panels on there. And obviously you can do this in any color that you want. I just used the brown because I thought it looked pretty with the green, and I have a lot of that kind of paper, so that's why I used it. So I'm going to go ahead. Now there's a couple of ways that you can do the handle for the little treat basket. I prefer it to be on the inside, tucked in like that. And I made it long enough where you can either, you know, you can have a taller one or you can have a shorter one like that, or taller. You decide. I like it a little taller. I just think it looks a little more in proportion. And I do like to use this stickier, this little sticky roll, tape roll, and, well, fumble fingers, and tuck it in as centered as you can. Then again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to tuck this one right about like that. And then we've got the basket. All right, so I have these little shamrocks that go with this one. I went ahead and glued down the little yellow dot because that was a tiny piece and I didn't want to lose it. So I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to use just a dot in the middle, because that way I can bend up and shape the leaves a little bit so that they stick out. So that one, you just have to let them get a little bit dry before you start. And if you'll notice, I have kind of like a wider span between the 2 of these leaves, and those go here so that it separates and looks a little nicer on that shamrock. So I'll let that one dry for a sec and work on this one. I don't know what it is about shamrocks and clover, but they're just so fun and springy. And obviously St. Patrick's Day, but I remember as a kid we had clover that grew, oops, got a little too much glue. Clover that grew in our backyard, and we would search for the elusive 4-leaf clover. You could get all kinds of 3-leaf ones, but the 4-leaf ones those were the lucky ones. Okay, so now that I've got those put together, I'm going to take, oh, I got a little bit of glue on there that I didn't mean to. I'm going to take these little petals, maybe I'll use my pen stuck on there, use my tweezers to turn those up just a bit. Or your fingers, if you don't have big fingers, fat fingers like me. I guess they're not really that fat, but I don't know. The tweezers just make everything easier to get the look that you want, I think. And you know, there's a couple of ways that you can do this, but I like to just kind of bend them up towards the base a little. Like that. And that may be not too much on that, because those need to lay just a little bit flatter. But it really just makes it, you know, instead of looking like a flat, or just that you just glued a bunch of flat pieces together, it gives it a little more life, I guess. You could say it like that. Okay, so then I'm going to take the glue, or your sticky strips, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to, on the sides of the basket that are opposite the handle. You could do it over here, but I think it'll look better here. And just kind of, I like to tilt it, the shamrock just a tad. Again, because it makes, if it's too perfect or too straight up and down, I think it just looks too forced. That's my personal opinion. I like it to look a little perfectly imperfect. Does that make sense? So there's that. And then on this side, I'm going to get my little shamrock. Ooh, that one I put a little too much glue on. That's okay. Sometimes that glue oozes out. There we go. Bend that one up a bit. I do like these tweezers. I have to be really careful with them though, because they are very, very pokey. And I have punched a hole in my finger a couple of times and it was not good. All right, almost there. If you get closer down to the base on this back one, it seems to look a little more natural. And if you know you get this little bend, that's okay, because you don't see it when it's on the box or the basket. All right, so take a little bit of glue, and this one is going to go tilt the opposite direction, or you honestly you can do it however you like, but I kind of like it that way, just to make it look like when you go around it's moving a little. All right, and there you have it, your sweet little Irish St. Patrick's Day gift basket for treats. You could put a little gift in that, confetti, really just about anything. And well, thank you for being here today, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Happy creating.